Okay, for your NFL Week 17 power rankings. So starting off at number 10, I'm going to have the LA Chargers back on this list. LA Chargers are coming off a pretty good win over the Denver Broncos on Thursday Night Football. I think the Chargers defense had a rough first half, but they've been pretty good throughout this season. They aren't dominant as we thought earlier in the season. They've kind of been susceptible to some of the better offenses, but I think the Chargers defense still definitely above average. And that Chargers offense, pretty similar story, especially now that JK is coming back. That McConkey is carrying that passing game. Herbert's still a great quarterback. I think their offense, even though it's not amazing or anything, it should be good enough to make the playoffs and maybe have upset somebody like the Steelers. But the Chargers, well-rounded team, but not doesn't really they don't really have a huge strength anywhere. Number nine is I'm gonna have the Pittsburgh Steelers down 2 spots. I'm filming this after the Christmas night game or Christmas Day game, so I do know that Pittsburgh are coming off 3 straight losses now. First to the Ravens and then to the Chiefs on Christmas Day. Their offense has regressed big time. They have played better defenses, but their offense looks like they're only good against bad opponents, and their defense um, is good, but not as good as they were previous year. So the Steelers, maybe it was just because they were playing bad teams, but against these better teams like the Chiefs and the Ravens, the Steelers, their offense kind of gets slows down big time, and their defense, as good as they are, they're not great. They're not dominant like they've been the previous year. So Steelers, good defense and an average offense, have them at number nine. At number eight, I'm gonna have the Washington Commanders back on this list. Commanders, they're come off a great win over the Philadelphia Eagles. Jaden Daniels is the rookie of the year. And Jane Daniels, despite some turnovers and some bad plays overall by the offense, they made up for it. They scored 36 against a great, one of the best Eagles defenses. That Commanders defense as well, honestly, has not been bad this year. They haven't been great or anything, but that Commanders defense, they were not they were bad against the Eagles, but throughout this season they have not been terrible, and they got the stop that it needed to do. So the Commanders, I think the offense, everybody knows they have, honestly, with Jaden Daniels back there, their offense is super explosive and their defense is solid. At number seven, I'm gonna have the Baltimore Ravens up a spot. They found their groove again. They beat the Steelers. They beat the Texans on Christmas. Ravens, their defense honestly played a lot better recently. Their secondary is not as much of a liability. Same thing with their offensive line. They're still not a strong spot. They're still kind of the weak link, but still good enough. Derrick Henry is good. Playing actually great. Lamar is the MVP caliber right now. The wide receivers still pretty similar to the previous years. Good but better. Mark Andrews coming alive. The Ravens are heating up at the right time. Their defensive line is still very dominant. I think both their weaknesses, the secondary and offensive line has improved tremendously. At number six, I'm gonna have the Green Bay Packers staying where they are. They beat the Saints on Monday Night Football. Saints are a dead team. The Ravens continue to be a playoff caliber team. Not much to say about that. Defense looks good, offense looks good. Not much to say on the Packers. Number five, I'm gonna have the Minnesota Vikings also staying where they are. It was a tough game versus the Seahawks, but they played in a tough environment. That Seahawks is a decent team, and it's hard to play in Seattle. That Vikings defense still very very good. They've had a turnover in every single game. Sam Darnold, like I said last week, is starting to come alive right now. He had that great touchdown pass to Justin Jefferson. Darnold is definitely heating up at the right time after kind of a midseason slump. Aaron Jones is being Aaron Jones. So Vikings, I love their defense. I think they have a great defense, and their offense, Sam Darnold specifically, has been coming alive lately. Number four is going to be the Detroit Lions staying where they are. They beat the Bears, similar to the Packers story. The Bears aren't much of an opponent. The Lions defense, we'll see how they hold up against some of the better offenses coming up in their schedule, like the Vikings. But their defense looked fine against the Bears. Hopefully those injuries aren't a huge factor. The offense continues to be very good. Lions well-rounded. It's just their injury question mark right now. Number three is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles down 2 spots. They lost Jalen Hurts. They lost the game. Offense, honestly, with Pickett was not terrible, but was not good. Definitely lost the stuff with Hurts out, and their defense got kind of exposed. Hopefully, it's just a one-off thing, but that was not a good game versus the Commanders, especially for their defense. Number two, I'm gonna have the Buffalo Bills staying where they are. A very lackluster game versus the Patriots. It was a divisional rival, and I know divisional rivals play each other tough, but I swear, when was the last time the Bills had a great game by both their offense and their defense? We both know their offense and defense has potential to be the best. We just have to see them come together and hopefully during the playoffs. And the teams that dropped out is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously, they lost to the Cowboys and is no longer in control of their destiny. Offense just dropped the ball. Defense, same similar story. And Denver Broncos, they kind of choked. They couldn't finish off the game against the Chargers. Broncos, both these teams, I still think are playoff potential teams. They still are good teams, but they just had bad losses. Number one is going to be the return of the Kansas City Chiefs. They're back at number one. Their offense is honestly heating up. Mahomes, Kelsey, Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown is making not a big impact, but a good impact on that Chiefs offense. And their defense, even without Chris Jones, played great against some good offenses like the Texans and the Steelers. So there you have him, NFL Week 17 power ranking.